Hey there, I'm Ben Frisch with Get Digital Support, here with another webinar for you. We're talking winning SEO strategies to boost website traffic. So these are search engine optimization strategies to drive organic traffic to your website. And we got a lot to cover today. So before we get into it though, I just want to go through a quick overview of who are we as Get Digital Support. For one, we are the Collingwood Digital Service Squad. We've been in that role, not necessarily as Get Digital Support, but as myself and as BeFresh Media prior to or from 2019. But essentially, Get Digital Support was born out of that role. We launched in 2022. And so we still offer this free service of digital marketing consultation to local businesses in our area as part of a local funded program that's pretty awesome. So if you're in Collingwood area, you can get access to some digital consulting services for free. But aside from that, Get Digital Support also provides digital marketing resources, webinars, and consulting services to businesses everywhere. And beyond that, I did mention BeFresh Media. So Get Digital Support is part of the BeFresh Marketing Group, which consists of BeFresh Media, which is our video production, content creation brand, as well as 20 Sharp, which is our digital advertising, website development, and SEO advertising agency. Kind of a full suite of digital marketing services and support. So if you have any need for any of these kinds of services, definitely reach out, give us a shout, and we can help you with anything from social media management to search engine optimization, digital advertising, web design. Like I said, you name it, we pretty much do it all. So reach out if you need any help with that. But moving into our agenda today, we're talking, of course, about search engine optimization. So starting with on-page SEO, we're going to cover off what that means, what is on-page SEO comprised of, how to make improvements to your on-page SEO. Then we're going to talk about links, so an overview of what kind of links there are, and talk about some link building strategies. We're then going to talk about pay-per-click as an SEO strategy. And throughout and at the end here, we're going to share with you some additional SEO tools. These are links to other tools that you will probably find useful. They're tools that we find extremely useful and use them all the time. And so stay tuned for that. Those links are coming up near the end there. But first, like I said, we're talking about on-page SEO. What is it? So on-page SEO, of course, refers to the elements that are on or kind of just behind the scenes of your actual web page. So those include title tags. Title tags being your meta title for the web page, and your meta description. So these are they are behind the scenes. They're not public facing until unless we're talking about your Google organic search listing. That's where the title and description comes from, and these are really important to fill out. Because again, Google is going to present that information to people in the Google search listing page. And so making sure that those title tags are, up to date, they make sense, they don't run off too long. I believe title tags should be around 55 to 60 characters. Meta descriptions should be around 160, I think. Maybe don't quote me on that. But I'm going to talk about some ways to that'll help you to make improvements to those. And I will talk about a tool that will give you those exact character lengths. So That's why I don't have the the information stored in my brain. I use a tool that helps me do that. But so these are really important, as I said, in terms of, it's kind of the first step in informing Google as well about what your page is about and what information it contains. So we want to make sure that we fill those out. Then there's header tags. So these are actually header tags, visible to the public. They are header tag being a reference to HTML, and there's essentially H1 through 6 is your headers. Now H1 being like usually they're not only are they physically, visually larger as you go from 1 to 6, 6 being the smallest, but they also kind of work in a hierarchy in the way that Google kind of understands and interprets that information. So basically you want one H1 header on every page. And again, Google's going to interpret that as being the most important header, sort of setting the stage, telling us what this page contains. And then you definitely want to have additional headers, H2, H3, H4, above different sections. And that way, it helps inform the Google crawlers what additional information is here in that sort of hierarchy of importance. So we always want to see, like I said, one header and then multiple, H2s, 3s, 4s, variety through the page. Then there's keyword frequency. So basically the frequency in which you are using your certain focused keyword throughout your page. Now, it's really important to consider, one main focused keyword phrase instead of trying to cram all of your keywords into your home page. You want to try and focus it and use sort of a singular keyword phrase per page. And that way, you can really keep track of making sure that keyword phrase is located in your title tags, in your descriptions, in your header tags, in the content of the page, in the body. Because when you try and cram too many keywords in there, it gets really disorganized and hard to understand, like what is the focus of this page. So going back to, when we talk about keyword frequency, that just refers to this the particular page that we're looking at. How many times does your focused keyword appear on that page from, all the different places that it can be found. But especially in the body too. You want to make sure that you're, in the copy of your webpage, you're mentioning your keywords and mentioning them often. And that's, obviously important because it can help Google rank those keywords and rank your pages for those keywords. So then number 5 is the written content, the quality and quantity of the written content. And I think it's important to talk about quantity as an SEO strategy, where a lot of times when people are putting websites together, they feel like they don't want many words on their page. They don't want to include a lot of lengthy descriptions. But on the flip side, that is incredibly vital to search engine optimization by housing those keywords, by informing Google of what this content is about. And in that sense, the quantity and quality of your written content is very important. And, it's worth mentioning too that in 2024, probably more so in 2025, a lot of that content is going to be written by AI. And And that can really help in terms of the quantity of content. But we also want to make sure that we are keeping that quality high as well by editing it, fact checking it, making sure it's accurate, making sure that we're trying to add our own voice and personality into it wherever possible. And that's going to just help it be more authentic, while also maintaining that quantity. So then number 6, we've got alt attributes, and specifically with regards to images, the alt attributes or alt text refers to a bit of text or background code that describes the image. Now, technically, the alt image text is for screen readers. So people who are visually impaired and use a screen reader to read out what is on the page so they can hear it. The alt text is technically supposed to describe the images on the screen so that the reader will verbally read or read that out, and someone who's visually impaired will be able to understand what the image contains. So when we think about that, and how it relates to search engine optimization, well, crawlers can't really see images either, and therefore by reading the alt text, a crawler can understand what an image contains, what kind of picture, what the picture is about, and that will help influence your ranking and your SEO. So it's another place to include your frequency, your keywords, but you do want to make sure that you're not just stuffing keywords in there. It has to make sense. It should make sense in the context of what it's supposed to be for. So just keep that in mind. And then lastly, page speed is more and more a really vital part of your search engine optimization as well. And the reason is that Google wants to send, they want to serve up a page that when someone's searching for something, they know, okay, this result here is something that a lot of other people are spending time on, which means that they found it useful, and therefore you will probably find it useful too. So in that sense, if people are hitting a page and it's taking forever to load, and therefore they're bouncing out immediately, then Google's less likely to serve up that page as a search result, because again, they want people, they want to serve up content they know is going to help people, and a slow loading page is just unfortunately not very helpful. So in that sense, your page speed is a vital part of your search engine optimization. Now, increasing the page speed, or I guess like reducing the load time is can be a pretty big strategy unto itself. And we're not going to get into it too much today, so I'll just say, if you're having problems with page speed, well, for one, we are going to talk about a few tools that will help you analyze that page speed and understand, if it's problematic, or what kind of changes that you can make to it. And then I will say too, a lot of the times, one of the biggest things that's slowing down a page is images and video. So if you have a lot of that kind of content on your site, just make sure that you are, optimizing it as much as possible, compressing it for the lowest possible file size without compromising the quality too much. You got to kind of walk that fine line of reducing the file size, but not necessarily the quality. Find that nice balance for the fastest load times and the best looking website. There's always kind of a balance in there that you're going to have to find. So, like I said, we will talk about a little bit more later on some tools that can help you with the page speed. But these are all on-page SEO factors that are going to help to make improvements in terms of your ranking and your organic search traffic. But how do we do that? Of course, we need to make improvements to these and learn about ways that we can actually implement some strategies for your on-page SEO to get those rankings and those clicks. So what I thought I would start with is mentioning a free SEO report. This is one of the best places to start by getting a just really comprehensive look at how your page is performing. And not only that, like what are the areas that are missing, that are in need of focus and attention. So SE Optimer is an SEO report. It's free, like I said. That it's free for one report every 24 hours. So if you just run it once a month or once every couple of months, you can really get a sense of how you might be progressing over time as you make some of the improvements that it will recommend. And so, the cool thing is too, you can run it on individual pages. So, run it on your home page, run it on your blogs, run it on your product pages, right? Like just it only analyzes like an individual page. And so therefore, like you can see SEO can be a bit of a daunting task in that sense. But you want to kind of take it one report at a time and just kind of start ticking these things off little by little. It's going to make a big impact if you just keep kind of chipping away at it and making some of the improvements that it's recommending. And I will say too that, one of the main recommendations that it will make is execute a link building strategy. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But Yoast or Rank Math is another or two other tools that are really handy, very effective at improving your search engine optimization. So I mentioned these ones because, so they are WordPress plugins. And so hopefully you maybe are using a WordPress website. I find more and more people are exploring other options, but I have noticed, there are some of these add-ons for, I believe, Shopify. You can install an app from Yoast and or Rank Math. So even if you have, you're not on WordPress but another platform, see if there's an option to add on these kind of tools, because why they're so effective is that when you create a new page, let's say you're writing a blog post, for example, you'll have the plugin kind of interface down at the bottom of your blog post, and it's going to ask you to insert a focused keyword for this whole page. So, you put in like your main keyword, as I said, like keeping it very focused on an individual keyword or keyword phrase. So it can be like, 3 words kind of strung together or 2 words, but a singular phrase or keyword. And then it's going to analyze the content of the entire page or post, and it's going to give you a really easy to follow checklist of things that you need to do to improve your search ranking. So, because what it does is it just says, okay, that's your keyword focus. Then it needs to be in your title tag, in your title, in your meta description. It needs to be in your H1 headers. It needs to be in your other headers. It needs to be showing up several times throughout the body of the post or the page. You need an image with an alt tag that contains the focus keyword. So on and on and on it goes. And like I said, it just gives you that really simple, easy to follow process to make those improvements and to increase the likelihood that you can, get some organic traffic for, or like get some ranking for this page based on your focused keyword. Now, one of the key differences that I want to point out between Yoast and Rank Math, they're both essentially the same thing. They do the process in pretty much the same way. I tend to like Rank Math better, though, just because of the way, actually two things. Number one is the way in which it scores your content. So both of them, as you make those improvements, will kind of score your page, and you kind of want to get that check mark of, yeah, this is like, we've hit as many check boxes as we can, and the content is looking really good. So the way Yoast scores that content is that it basically just goes from a red frowny face emoji to a yellow kind of straight mouth to then a green smiley face. And so on the flip side, Rank Math gives you just a numerical value from 0 to 100. And as you make changes, you'll see that numerical value increase. And the reason I like that better is just because, when you are in Yoast, usually when you hit the green smiley check mark or smiley emoji, you're kind of like, okay, I'm done. Like I got the smiley face. That's all I needed. But in the reality is that, there's always still more stuff that you can do. And with Rank Math, like you can still see, you cross your 80 score, you get to 85, there's still a couple more things that you can do. Like you're still in the green, you're still good, but like there's always improvements that you can make. And I think that's, just for me, it's just the way my brain prefers that sort of incentive to see the number climb and kind of keep me motivated to keep improving it. And the second reason why I like Rank Math actually a little bit more, something that I do a lot of, we're going to talk about links and broken links and then redirecting in a couple of slides. But Rank Math includes, like the free plugin includes a redirect tool, so allowing or avoiding broken links, or maybe fixing broken links by redirecting, an old link that doesn't go to anywhere anymore to a proper page on your website. So just two reasons why I like Rank Math a little bit more, but they're both really effective SEO plugins if you have a WordPress, or like I said, they are available for some website systems outside of that. So I think the last thing I wanted to say about on-page SEO is, making improvements to titles and descriptions. So again, that's sort of the behind the scenes meta title and meta description, because, it's worth reiterating that that when Google shows your web page, that's what people see. And so therefore, these are the two things that will influence, getting a click or not getting a click the most when it comes to, ranking for keywords and not getting any traffic for that. So again, title tag, meta description, you want to make those as enticing as possible. And again, you can use AI to help you generate the copy for those, come up with some ideas. Yeah, again, always make sure you're, editing that, putting your own twists on it, maybe, or taking ideas and putting them together for the best possible results. But essentially, increasing or improving these titles and descriptions can really help influence your click-through rate. That means, anytime someone sees your website in a Google organic listing, that's called an impression. And then when they click on it, that's really what you want, right? That's the traffic driver that we're all striving for. And so, the more clicks, the better. So, moving right along to links. Let's talk about the importance of links and how we can use them within the context of search engine optimization. And also why they're important. So firstly, we've got backlinks that backlinks are, just other sites out on the web that are pointing to us. So someone else has a link on their website that points to our website. That's called a backlink. And then an internal link, of course, is just, you've got a blog and you're linking out to your FAQ page, or you're linking to another blog. So those are internal links within your own website. Internal links are really important because, they just help kind of connect all the dots, even though your web page or your website is probably, all connected via the main navigation, whatever. But having those internal links as well can also be just a really good way for crawlers to discover your entire website and map it out. I like to think it's kind of like a Roomba. If you've ever seen those robotic vacuums, they don't vacuum like you and I would in a very geometric kind of pattern. They go sporadically, like all over the place, and soon enough they've just mapped out your whole floor plan. So I like to think that that's probably how crawlers work too. They just bouncing from page to page, and then all of a sudden they've mapped out the whole site. And going back to like Yoast and Rank Math, like those plugins, when you use those, that is one thing, that will be recommended to get another check mark, is to have an internal link on your page to another page within your site. And then broken links are the bad ones. So these are what we don't want. Broken links being any of those backlinks that are pointed, or it could be internal as well. So any link that exists anywhere to a page on your website that just doesn't work anymore. Maybe you've removed the page because it was outdated, or perhaps something went wrong and it just crashed or something. For whatever reason, someone's clicked a link and the page that they're looking for is not there anymore. And so, again, this is a bad experience from Google's perspective. They want to make sure that if they're serving up a page, well, A, it's there, and B, it's, like I said, helpful for those who are looking for it. So if it's not there, it's obviously not helpful to anybody. So this can really hurt your search engine optimization. And so it's really important to stay on top of any broken links, which, especially if you are changing over your website or something, oftentimes, we'll end up adding new pages or changing your navigation completely. And it's important to go through and make sure that, any of those old pages have been redirected to, the new relevant page. And sometimes too, if it's a maybe it's a category of products that you don't carry anymore, either direct people to something similar, or just maybe back to your homepage, whatever. But just make sure they're landing on a page that exists, that they can see some type of content there. So we're going to give you some tools as well for analyzing these kinds of things. So Ahrefs.com has a really great, and these are free too, by the way, to use, free backlink checker. So it gives you a quick report on how many backlinks you have to your website, and sort of the domain rating of each of those. And I think it's worth mentioning, like, because a lot of people do see, like, you'll get a number for like the domain rating, and it's easy to kind of freak out about it a little bit, because a lot of small businesses like won't have a high domain rating. Like, you're not a big website with a lot of authority, so therefore it's probably going to be pretty low, but it's nothing to get too worried about, really. One of the best ways that you can influence your domain authority is by having backlinks from websites with a lot of authority. So when they talk about authority, it's like, how trustworthy are they? So like a government website, for example, will have a much higher authority rating and domain rating than, say, some spammy website that's up to no good. So, so basically, the more backlinks you have from, big, important, trustworthy websites, the better. And we're going to talk about ways to get more backlinks in the next slide as well. But additionally, from Ahrefs, you also want to check out their broken link checker. This is going to analyze the web and find if there's any broken links out there that are landing on your website that of pages that don't exist anymore. And another tool to do that gives you similar feedback on that is Search Console. And I mean, Search Console is a good tool for a lot of different things, but also finding those backlinks, those broken links, so that you can address them, is really a great part of what that tool does, the Search Console. And yeah, like I said, so once you run that broken link checker report, it is actually really easy to, go into your website, create a redirect, with that exact link. So you find that link that's broken, and you can say, okay, if anyone comes in to this URL, instead of, sending them there, send them here instead. So you can literally just redirect them to a page that exists, that is relevant, in order to, not be kind of penalized by having a page not found. So let's talk about also ways to get more backlinks, because if we just go back actually to the, when you run that backlink checker, you're going to see how many backlinks you have. And, when we were doing digital audits as the Digital Service Squad, running a backlink checker was part of what we worked it into the report. And one of the hard questions that we had to kind of answer, I guess, kind of for ourselves even, was just like, where do we set the bar for, an appropriate number of backlinks? Like, and because it is a very common question, like, how many backlinks should I have? And the answer, unfortunately, is as many as you can get. And so, with that in mind, it's just like, should be, just a kind of ongoing strategy of getting more backlinks. It's also worth noting that SE Optimer report. We've been running it and using that tool for years, and we've seen some of the improvements and changes they've made over the years, and including a backlink strategy was one of the most notable ones, additions or changes that they made over the last maybe about 2 years ago now, where consistently now when you run a report, that's going to be a high level important suggestion that they're going to make, because it just is so important, and no matter how many backlinks you have, it's not enough. Right? So that was a really interesting thing that we noticed working with SE Optimer, that they really put a lot of emphasis on the importance of getting more backlinks. So enough of that. Here's how we can get some more backlinks. Let's talk about that. So one is business directories. Of course, we've got your local chamber of commerce, or BIA maybe, things like that local directories that could be free, or maybe a small membership to get on those is well worth it. Other directories, could be industry related. So if you're in the tourism industry, definitely things like Yelp, that kind of thing. There's just all kinds of business directories that you can get on. So one of the easiest ways to increase your backlinks, to look for those directories, create those profiles. Hopefully they're free, or consider some paid memberships, but it's going to help with your backlinks. The second option is guest posts. So this has been a very common strategy for a long time, which is to offer your services as a guest author of a blog that's not yours. So essentially, you can approach someone who posts content of your industry, and see if they would be open to allowing a guest post. That means that you supply the copy, the content, in order to get a link back to your website. And so, like I said, it's a very popular strategy, and has been around a long time. Nothing too innovative there. But it can be a really good way to get those posts, get those links out there pointing back to your site. And then, similarly, there's just building relationships with other industry leaders. Perhaps it's networking groups. I'm a part of BNI, Business Networking International, is a networking group that I belong to. And one thing that we've tried over the years to do too is, getting together as business owners and saying, okay, let's all create a page on our website with links to all of our sites. And that's just going to help us, each and every one of us, by having more links out there. So, it's a good idea and strategy. Sometimes harder to pull off with a large group of people, but certainly worth the effort in trying to set something like that up. The other thing too is, you can create a website, a web page on your site that has maybe other partners, and then use that as a way to approach those partners and say, hey, I have a link to you on my website. What about adding one to us on yours? So just another way to kind of build those relationships and build those links. And then number 4, of course, is creating shareable content. So shareable content being, stuff like these webinars. Hopefully that's kind of one of our approaches where, we're creating content. Hopefully people will find it useful, helpful, and educational, and maybe even share it with other marketers, other business owners who can use it as well. And so it doesn't necessarily even need to be, video content. It could be infographics. It could be white papers, things like that. That is meant to, just really engage people, get them sharing content. Because then if they post it, they'll probably or hopefully include a link back to your website, or maybe they're talking about it on their website and sharing a link to where people can get this shareable content from your site. And then lastly, we talked about redirects and fixing broken links. And really, that's the best way to, get, or one of the best ways, the fifth way to get more backlinks, of course, is to just reclaim any broken backlinks that have kind of gone away, or they've been broken, and so we can fix them real easily, and that's a backlink that you haven't lost. So keep those strategies in mind. All really good and effective in getting those links. I would say too that there's probably ways of like paying for backlinks. Not always the most recommended strategy for sure, because again, when we talk about like domain authority, it comes from the quality of those backlinks. So usually if you're paying for more backlinks to your site, it's going to be on just real shady, spammy sites that are not going to help you in any way, really. So I would definitely avoid that as a strategy. So let's also talk, though, about pay-per-click. So yes, search engine optimization is typically like a sort of DIY free thing that we can do to increase organic traffic to your website. Paying for traffic, though, either through Google advertising, Google search, even display, social media advertising, these kinds of pay-per-click campaigns, especially when they're in support of your key pillar content, so those focused keywords, will help your organic search traffic. So the reason is that Google does account for your paid clicks and will factor that traffic towards your organic ranking, right? Because again, Google wants to see that people are visiting your page already. They're spending time there. They're obviously getting value out of it. And so they don't necessarily care whether that traffic was paid or organic. And so that way, paid traffic can help sort of increase your organic ranking because of that amount of traffic and that engagement that you're getting from the paid traffic. And it can help contribute towards building authority for your content, ultimately improve your ranking. And I often say too that, good SEO is also good for digital advertising, right? Because the way when we talk about that on-page SEO strategy and making sure the content is very focused and contains all the right keywords and has value to it, has the quality and the amount of content that people will find valuable, then that means your ads are going to do better if they're finding the content that they've clicked through to find. You're just going to be better off for it. And so again, it's this great kind of circular benefit of good ads increase your SEO, and then good SEO will increase your ad performance as well. So definitely keep that in mind as you develop these strategies. So just a quick, kind of recap. I thought I would just add this something new that we haven't really done before in our other webinars. But just kind of top three, like if I were to say, like, because especially for this one, we're dumping a lot of info on you as you go through, the search engine optimization webinar. And so if I were to say, like, what would your 3 key takeaways be? Here's what I would recommend. So number 1 is optimizing those on-page elements. Start with your keyword research to understand what your audience is searching for, then optimize your website's on-page elements such as titles, headers, meta descriptions, and image alt text to match those keywords. Make sure each page is structured clearly and provides value. So, keyword research is something that we didn't really talk about. It can be a whole webinar unto itself. But effectively, we want to look at tools like Google Search Console, and I've got another tool coming up, Keyword Planner, for helping with this kind of research. But it's really important to understand, how your potential clients or customers are searching for your products or services. It's probably not in a way that you might talk about or search for those products or services. There might be other keywords that people are using, and so you can, really do yourself a service in doing a bit of research, understanding what those keywords are, how they're searching for it, what language are they using, in order to optimize your website better for those particular keywords. And again, cost per click advertising or even like Google search advertising, even going through that exercise can really help you to understand what are people searching for, and understand what those keywords are. But then also, like I said, Google Search Console is another good tool to get that sort of intel, and Google's Keyword Planner, which again, I'll have linked at the end here. But number 2, takeaway would be create high quality, relevant content. So that's, that on-page content, the content of your posts, your pages. You want to publish content that directly answers questions that your target audience has or provides insights they find valuable. And I think that's a really key one too. A key point is like that directly answers the questions that your target audience is searching for. If that can be the title of your post, that question that you get the most or that people are putting into Google the most, that's going to really help you show up more in Google. Because if people are searching for it, that question, and you've got a really good high quality answer in response to that, that's going to, get you ranking really quick. But you want to regularly update your blogs or resource section with new informative articles, helping to improve rankings and encourage users to spend more time on your site. So, the quality of your content is really vital, and making sure that it's, it's up to date. You're adding new content is all part of the strategy. And then number 3, build quality backlinks. Again, we want to focus on acquiring backlinks from credible sites, and they can be, ideally within your industry. This includes engaging in guest blogging, promoting your content, networking with other site owners. Having those backlinks from reputable sources signal to search engines engines that your website is trustworthy and relevant. Again, the higher the quality or higher domain authority that those links are coming from, the better it is for you. So avoid, those spammy, spammy looking websites. And then lastly, I wanted to share some SEO tools. Again, we've got, that free SEO report from SE Optimer. I really love this report. I didn't say it at the beginning, but when we were starting out as the Digital Service Squad and often running reports as part of our digital audit, we used a couple of different tools. There's lots of different options out there for an SEO report. One thing I liked about, or the main thing I liked about SE Optimer was, one, it's free, but two, was just the way they laid it out. The simplicity of the language was a lot easier for, most business owners to kind of wrap their heads around and understand. It wasn't too technical. Certainly the page speed and downloads part can get pretty technical. Even for me, it's, can make my head spin a little bit, but I really liked the way that they laid that out. I find it really easy to follow. And so that's why I like promoting it, just because it's a great tool. Again, Rank Math and Yoast being SEO WordPress plugins. That's why there's not a link there. You just go to the plugin section and search for them. Two great tools. Google Keyword Planner. So here's a link to the Keyword Planner from Google that is in the Google Ads platform, and that's what it's for. So it's designed for helping you plan keywords for your advertising, but you can also just use it for general use in helping you plan out your search engine optimization strategy and finding those relevant keywords. Another thing that I didn't put down here, but it more and more is becoming an option is asking AI, ChatGPT, give me a list of relevant keywords for this type of product or service, and it's going to spit out some really good options for you and some ideas that you might be able to run with. Additionally, we've got number 4, Search Console. I've mentioned that quite a bit as well. I think it's worthy of mentioning as well. So just explaining what Search Console is, it's not really like Google Analytics, but it kind of is in that, it's sort of analytics tells you, when someone lands on your website, it gives you all that data information about what they did, where they, even first, where they came from, then how they interacted with your website. Whereas Search Console is just giving you the data within Google, how people might have seen your website, so as a listing or as an impression, and then how many clicks those impressions got or those listings got. So that's where we can get a really good sense of, what keywords are we showing up for? What are people searching for to find us? What are some of the keywords where we're getting lots of impressions but not a lot of clicks? As again, a way to kind of pinpoint an area of focus for us. So if we're getting a lot of impressions for a keyword and not a lot of clicks, there's a really great opportunity there to focus on that content, the titles, the descriptions, the body, everything there. We can overhaul that page, try and really give it a strategy overhaul to increase the likelihood of people clicking on that. And so, yeah, in that sense, Search Console, great tool for that. And like I said, it also can give you a readout on any broken links or pages that Google has crawled in the past that are no longer there. So all of these are free, by the way. Yoast and Rank Math are the only ones there that that do have a paid upgrade if you want. But like I said, Rank Math has a lot of great tools that are included with the free version. So I don't even recommend going with the paid. But then lastly, page speed insights. We talked a lot about, or a little bit about the speed at which your page loads and how vital that is to search engine optimization. And so here's a tool that will give you even more feedback on how fast your page is loading, with some action items that you can take to make improvements to that. A couple things to say about that are, number one, the bar that they set for what they consider to be a fast page speed is very high. So, I always like to tell people, like, take it with a grain of salt, because essentially what they consider to be a good fast website is in 2.5 seconds. They're testing for a mobile 4G network, I think. They want to see it load in 2.5 seconds. In all the tests that we've ever run for all of our different Digital Service Squad clients and our 20 Sharp and Get Digital Support clients, I think I've only ever seen about 2 websites pass or come under the 2.5 benchmark. So keep that in mind. It's a very high standard that they have set. And mind you, again, it's always good to make improvements. Yes. But if you're coming in at 4 seconds, if you're coming in at 5 seconds, like, okay, make some improvements, but don't worry about it too much. If you're coming in at like 12 or 16 seconds, that's when I'd start really worrying and taking some initiative to really focus on improving that. So yeah, the second thing I want to say about page speed insights is that there is a tool. Again, if you have a WordPress website, I highly recommend checking out or installing Google Site Kit within your WordPress website. So what this is going to do is it's going to connect not only your analytics and your search console, as well as Tag Manager if you need it or use it, but also Page Speed Insights, because it's a Google tool. I don't know if I mentioned that, but so that's the nice thing about that plugin for a WordPress website called Google Site Kit. It will connect all of these different tools. And what I find too with the plugin in your website versus going to the link and plugging in your URL and getting the feedback, one of the differences is that the plugin is directly in your website. So it can give you a little bit more insight into what's causing, delays or slow loading pages, just because it's like that much closer to the infrastructure of your website. So just 2 options there and ways to access that tool. Both are really good, but like I said, the plugin, if you have a WordPress website, is just that much more effective in getting better feedback. And that's it. And again, I keep forgetting to update this last slide. But yeah, we do have more webinars coming up on Get Digital Support. Next one is Google Analytics. Always a really great topic to get into. But yeah, check us out too. We've got some upcoming in-person workshops in Collingwood and Wasaga Beach. If you're in the area and want to check those out, you can head on over to enterprisecenter.ca to register for those. Otherwise, always check out Get Digital Support for latest news and updates on webinars and resources. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you at the next one. So hopefully you found this useful, and we'll see you there. Bye for now.